I'm going, Pastor.
My name is Alexandra Guillen, and this is a story called The Divorce of My Parents Impacted My Life. From the eyes of a 9-year-old, I had the perfect family. My parents always supplied my siblings and I with the best gifts, with the best toys, and always reminded us daily of how much they loved us. In elementary school, I remember feeling sorry for all the children who came from broken families. Seeing them made me realize that I had a perfect little family. To know that I was fortunate enough to go home to both a mom and a dad. However, I realized that my perfect little family wasn't so perfect after all. My family became a statistic. A statistic that says 50% of marriages in the United States will end in divorce. From the eyes of my 12-year-old self, my family was just another number added to that statistic. And at the time I realized that those children I felt sorry for in elementary school became my reality. For the purpose of this topic, I researched the following sources to provide statistical insight into how divorce affects families. From a personal experience, the divorce forced me to transition from a child into a surrogate guardian. It made me discover new coping mechanisms to handle the divorce and gave me a new perspective of what family truly means. Following the news of the divorce, my life of fun and games quickly came to an end. I was a 12-year-old sister who substituted sleepovers and movies to take care of screaming children while my mother worked day in and day out to provide food for us on the table. Slowly but surely, I began taking on more responsibility. Cooking, cleaning, and putting my siblings to sleep became my new regimen, all while my mother was battling struggles of her own. It is known that 60% of people who have previously experienced depression will experience another episode following the split. Unfortunately, my mother too fell into a deep depression following the divorce. Because of this, I became the surrogate guardian of my siblings. Although I wanted to go outside and play with my friends or keep up with the latest movies, I knew my mother needed me at home. As months went on, I discovered a middle ground between balancing both my schoolwork and my responsibilities at home. Because of this, I was able to come up with different mechanisms that helped me cope better with the divorce. When dealing with a child who's going through separation of their parents, it is always best to engage that child into activities or events to help rekindle and rebuild that self-esteem, according to an article written about divorce and children. Although most specialists insist that therapy is the best way for children to handle divorce, it wasn't for me. Instead, I got involved in sports, academics, and extracurricular activities. With the help of my coaches and teachers, I was able to bring my siblings to practices or to games if my mom was working late. Seeing how much my mother struggled during divorce was a big eye-opener for me. I knew I wanted to go to the best universities and to the best schools, and to do that, I needed to excel in my academics. For academics, I found time to study after putting my siblings to bed, or waking up early in the morning to study for tests. When times got rough, my mother always reminded me, give it your 100%. You're a V-Dowdy, and that means you're a fighter, and V-Dowdies don't give up. Eventually, I made high honor roll, and I got accepted to one of the most prestigious high schools in San Antonio, Health Careers High School, and eventually attended Texas A&M University, which is where I am at currently. Seeing how much support my mother and siblings had for me made me realize how blessed I was to have my family. I used to think family meant that you had both your parents present and your life was perfect and full of happiness. After seeing the transformation my family went through, I realized that that is not what it meant at all. Family doesn't mean that you have your life put together or that you have both parents present in your life. It means that you can feel secure, that you can be at your most vulnerable state and that person will not leave you. Fortunately for my family, we were able to overcome this obstacle. And we were given two options. after the divorce, to either let this divorce define us or to have the power to overcome it. Fortunately for my family, we did. And as my mother always said, we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. What my mother said stuck with me because it made me learn from my experience. The divorce allowed me to mature enough to be a better sister and daughter to my family. It allowed me to give a better insight into different perspectives of what family means and different scenarios that were given to me. After the divorce, it felt like picking up those broken pieces were never ending, and that my family and I would never achieve that same happiness we had before. With that divorce had came depression, despair, and denial. But also came positive lessons. At the time I didn't know, but the divorce allowed me to become a better sister for my siblings. It gave me an opportunity to get my life together, to do better in school, and made me realize that how I wanted my family to be when I had one of my own. And although my family struggled and didn't have the best car or the best house, we found strength in each other, and sometimes that is all a family needs to survive.
Is that it?
Yes.
You messed up though because you could have turned in.
Good job.
Nice.